Managed a little bit of exploring this afternoon on the way home. Found somebody's secret quad trail going up the mountain. That could be going in somewhere interesting. It was 5 degrees. I left the door and a buddy of mine drove up and over the hill out of town earlier grabbing his boat, and he said it was 3 degrees. Feels like it's going to snow. Not too cold for these bugs. Ole. Alright, I don't have any bug dope and these suckers are thick. Let's see how this goes. Not too much. One after the other. Let me get a couple things out. We might have to finish this off back at the cave. Some hungry little bastards are out. Holy. Little tiny black flies by the looks of it. Oh, quick note. Edgar is in the hospital. I forgot, I didn't read that last email correctly. They had a lot of fun on their Canary Island vacation. Apparently he is in the hospital again. I don't know why. And if he is, if you're listening, Edgar, we're all sending you well wishes, alright? Speedy recovery, man. And the amount of people that are, I guess it's endless. As long as there's humans on the planet, it's going to be humans getting sick and humans not doing so well, right? It's unfortunate. It just seems to come fairly common here lately. I don't know why. But anyway, so Edgar, if you're hearing us, you got a shit pile of people sending you well wishes. And we can't wait for you to come back. We can't wait for you to come back and share with us more knowledge for the people too, right? When you can, buddy. Who else? What else? Scott Jerry. Scott Jerry, this is the same day I read your email earlier about that nasty little tumor in Jerry. And get snuggled in, Jerry. We got another round of shares coming up. Alright, we're all thinking about you at the same time. What else? Another couple notes I'd just like to mention. Me and steelhead fishing, just so you guys know. I do not consider myself an elite angler. I don't consider myself an elite anything. Yeah, I know how to fish, I know how to hunt, it's no big deal. But I don't need to have my hands on a steelhead, okay? I don't need to have my hands on a steelhead. I don't need a selfie with a steelhead, although if the situation presents itself easy enough, I'll do it. What I'm after is exactly what I share with you. For me to be standing in that remote river by myself, enjoying nature in the real world, and I want to at least know there's wild steelhead swimming right there in that beautiful pool, in that river like there should be. That alone is worth it for me to go there and stand there and throw a camera down the water and just to film it and see it. I get really excited throwing the SD card from the underwater camera into the reader to see what I might have caught on film down there. And as far as me catching a steelhead, if I can have one hit the end of that rod, even if it's just for 2 seconds, it is an absolute bolt of lightning, shot of adrenaline. It's like 50,000 volts shooting through your body through the end of the fishing rod. And for me, that's as good as it gets. And they're single barbless hooks, so y'all know they're single barbless hooks. Yes, they are sharp, but I don't give a shit if I land one or not. I would actually almost prefer for it to slam the rod, scare the shit out of me, give me adrenaline, give me a little ups and out of the water, fight, blast around, and get off the hook on its own. Perfect. Perfect. That's my perfect moment. I'm good. I love it. So there you go. I'm getting a flood of emails from the elite anglers who are telling me that I'm standing wrong, I'm in the wrong part of the river, I'm not doing this right, I'm not doing that right, you should do this, you should do that, and you should do this. And I appreciate the concern, I do appreciate you sharing knowledge. But just so you know, I'm doing everything that I am doing perfectly for me. Okay? I'm very content, very happy to do it. What else do we have? One more quick mention is mental health and YouTube. Holy cow, that's a big one lately. I don't know what it is, man. There's a lot of individuals out there suffering with mental health issues. Fortunately, I seem to attract a lot of them. One more note I want to mention about is mental health issues, and YouTube. I don't know what it is. I mean, I know there is a lot of mental health issues going on in the world today, in society today. As far as I'm concerned, most of it's probably intentional, from what is forced upon the people. But anyway, through diet and through manipulation. But anyways, what I seriously know, I don't know why. Both Dave Platus as well. Sometimes actually quite a few times now, we've had some absolute freaking lunatics with email. And also they've declared war. They've declared war because somebody on YouTube has conspired to ruin their life, to attack them, block them, and do things to prohibit them from functioning properly in life, apparently. Oh my God. And I don't know why. I've had a handful of, sometimes it just comes in flurries. All of a sudden I'll just get bombed with emails from various same individuals who have decided that somebody on YouTube is intentionally annihilating their life somehow. I don't know how. I haven't a clue why. And 99.999% of the time, you just ignore it. But after about the 50 or 60 or 70th email, and their mental health seems to almost be deteriorating in front of your eyes, but sometimes I can lose my patience. Then I'll send them a ripper email in basically what would be considered a throat punch in the way of, but the only way I can deliver it is through words. Sometimes it gets frustrating, right? It gets frustrating because I get other people's battles emailed to me non-stop. People email me stuff that I should be aware of that'll make me angry. People be sharing things with me that they're angry about, and I should know about it too. And look at this, Steve, what are you going to do about this? And everybody wants me to fight. Everybody wants me to go to war for them for various topics non-stop. It could be challenging at times, weighing on your patience. I don't even know why I'm sharing that. I am. But anyway, yeah. I guess you don't really see it, do you? You don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but for every email I share with all of you, there's probably another 10 or 15 that hit the box, and they are not on topic at all. Various other topics, and extreme signs of mental health issues. It's unfortunate, but there's a lot of people out there who are really fucked up, right? And I just wish sometimes that they would just pass me up. Just pass me up, all right? Leave me out of your life. I didn't enter your life. I don't know who you are. And stay out of mine, all right? Just stay out of mine. If you're one of those loopy savages who, for your brain is telling you that I'm doing something to intentionally annihilate your personal existence, holy shit. Stay away, please. I guess that's a bit of a ramble, but there's a lot that goes on that you guys aren't aware of, I'll tell you what. Let's get on with it. Steve, please be advised that do you have anyone in Tennessee contacting your viewers about free gifts? If it is not a scam, and they're using your channel to take advantage of your people, if it's not a scam, I apologize. Anybody trying to get a hold of you guys, posing as me, is scamming. 100%. Anybody who's using my photograph or the how to hunt, blah blah, with any kind of a phone number, it's 100% scam. Anybody's trying to get a hold of you to tell you want something and using my name, it's a scam. Alright, the only thing that I do to contact any of you is what I'm doing right now through this video. That's it. Anything comes your way, any other route, and it's got howtohunt.com on it or me, it's a scam. Okay, you guys? It's a scam. Don't get suckered by the bullshit online. There's shit piles of it. I don't know why or how they do it, or I don't even understand how the people that do it actually lose time of life doing it and having their time be worthy. I haven't a frickin' clue. But no, it's not me. Alright? I don't want these bugs are thicker than shit out here today. Alright. Part 1. Switchback Trailhead, Sabe Group, possible Olympic National Mountains. Steve, it's Thomas. I sent my story in about our experiences while on a search and rescue in 2014. The rescue pilot saw the creature / Sabe. I remember that. Here's my personal experience. August 2021. I and 7 friends of mine decided to take an overnight hike into the wilderness around the Olympic National Park area in northwest Washington, across the straits from Vancouver Island. I just bombed by in view of that the other day. We set off at the Switchback Trailhead on the north side of the mountains. The day was perfect, warm, clear, and full of relaxation. It was 5:30 when we started our hike. We decided to hike roughly 4 or 5 miles to Lake Angeles Campground and bivouac for the evening and fish, swim, and relax. The lake is in high country. After setting up my tent, I cleared the site of branches, rocks, and pine cone debris. I wasn't even thinking about work, home, or nothing. Funny how that works, right? It does the same thing to me. At 8:45 p.m., my friend Mark was kneeling behind the edge of his tent, staring into the wood line, not saying a thing. I walked over to see if he was all right when I noticed his 10mm pistol in his hand. I crouched immediately, asked him, "What are you seeing?" His reply was, "Dude, there's someone out there." "Where?" I demanded. He turned his head slightly to tell me, 40 yards dead ahead, watch that small tree. At this point, I remembered the Idaho experience during a search and rescue recovery where the life flight pilots saw a creature walking away, and I didn't want to miss seeing this creature with my own eyes. As time went by, about 5 minutes, the only thing we saw together was a 10-foot pine tree shake like it was pulled and let go. 10:30 p.m., tired from the day, I headed to bed. About 15 minutes went by when we heard a tree fall. Everyone on alert and talking. A branch was thrown, hitting the fire pit between the tents. I was certain our buddy Luke was responsible since he's the joker of the crew, but he was snoring. This harassment continued all night. Mark and I stepped out to investigate the area, flashlights and guns in hand. Nothing to see. At 04:20, a low moaning, grunting started from 2 areas on either side of the camp. I can't begin to tell you how freaked out I was, let alone the others. It would start on the south side, stop, then another would start on the north side on the slope above us. By 05:05, sun not up enough to shine on the camp, there were 3 separate sound locations, rocks being thrown, huffing, and low deep growls. We decided to start packing camp to leave, and this is where I saw what was going on. We were camped on the lake shoreline. Where we were camped on the lake shoreline was at the north end of the lake. We hiked up along the west side following the obvious trail. We packed and were headed back that way till we came upon a tree over the trail. Now, I knew, as we all agreed, this probably was the tree we heard falling the evening before. As we talked there by the tree, Mark shouts, "Shit, it's a Bigfoot!" I turned in time to see a brown, upright body step into the bush. We decided to take the east trail instead, freaked out now and excited about what we witnessed. We moved much slower than coming in, watching for anything strange. Each time we went off trail or stopped, a branch would break, or we'd hear a large foot stomp behind us. The east trail was not clean and clear. Lots of brush cover any clear trail. We did get away from the lake to the south, but not on the trail we came in on. I heard 3 distinct noises from 3 different areas, all pushing us down the mountain somewhat towards our vehicles. Every time we'd slow or stray, we'd hear a growl or scream changing our course. We came out onto Hurricane Ridge Road, the main road, about 3 miles from where we entered. I saw the distant outline of 3 creatures 4 times. Head and weight varies on each. They'd stay in the shadows the entire trip. What incredible intelligence they showed. They observe us all night, then selectively make sounds, intimidating sounds, to drive us away from our camp, guiding us away, making course changes, pushing us back to where we came from, while keeping out of sight. I don't have to see them. I don't want to. There is no way in hell these beings are simple apes. They use distraction, screams, thought projection, mind speak, or infrasound to induce fear to move humans away. You're absolutely correct with one fact. If they wanted to kill us, they would have, and nothing would have stopped that. Amen. Steve, I've learned a lot from your channel, the many stories and encounters people have had. I hope this somewhat lengthy account will help someone when they encounter these people. My mind is blown. It's hard not thinking about it every day now. Stay strong, Steve. Keep speaking the simple truth, Thomas. There you go, man. The Club of No Return signs up a few more instantly without asking. No way out. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's a crazy reality. And isn't it? So, Thomas, you've experienced, this is to you directly, you've experienced these things firsthand now. Isn't it amazing that there's actually people out there who have claimed to have spent who knows how many years investigating these beings, and they claim that they're a simple primate that actually nest in the ground, migrate, and hunt and fish for sustenance non-stop. And they probably rut like elk and bash their antlers on trees and piss on themselves too, right? But anyways, just so all you know, all you who are curious and learning, if what was going on today was just a simple animal, unrecognized animal by humans today, our late and great First Nations hunters would have necklaces with their teeth on it a long time ago. A long time ago. And that is all there is to it. Any animal in North America has been successfully harvested by both indigenous and non-indigenous human beings for a long frickin' time. Always have been, always will be. They aren't simple. They are not simple animals. They are not an unrecognized primate. Period. If you are actually trying to push that on the public, you are a blatant lying prick, and you know you are. For whatever reason you keep trying to push that narrative on the people, I haven't a clue. But it's ending here. It's definitely ending here on this channel. Nothing but the truth's coming here. Nesting. Yeah, they make nests all right. They sit on their eggs for like 21 days too. Alright, here we go. CH again. Thanks for sharing some of my story. I got another one for you that came from a coworker of mine that told me this just a few nights ago at work after I brought up the subject of weird things happening out in the mountains. Now, he grew up in Colorado and served in the military in Vietnam and is about as blunt and straightforward as I come. This guy's seen combat and has killed men with his bare hands, and I will tell you about it. And will tell you about it if he likes to. After he told me the following story, he had almost a scared look on his face, like he had just relived the whole experience, and it had left a lasting impression. He told me that when he was in high school, his grandfather was a rancher and had leases from the government and on private property for grazing all around where they lived in Colorado, and that he would go out and help round up cattle and move cattle around these leases on horseback in the summer, and would stay out in the mountains for days at a time rounding up cattle or moving them to different parts of their lease. His grandfather had got a new lease on some private property, and that he had gotten it for dirt cheap, which he said was odd because the property had a small river and good feed for the cattle. The property was partially timbered, and that along the river bottom was meadows. They put some cattle out there to graze on a Friday, and that they went home since it wasn't too far from where they had lived. They went back the next day to check on the cattle and to push more onto the lease. He said they got there about 7 in the morning, and they got saddled up and went to see where the cattle had migrated to in the property. They got about a mile or so from the truck when they found the cattle in a meadow, all bunched together and pretty riled up. They figured they were just worked up because it was a new place, and it would take a day or so and they would calm down. After pushing more cattle onto the lease, they had about 100 head of cattle now on the property. They went home for the rest of the weekend and were back up there Monday morning. Monday morning, they rode out to check on the cattle, and they went to where they had seen them last in the meadow. When he got there, they found 4 cows piled up together, dead. He said there was no obvious wounds, bite marks, or claw marks. The only thing was that it appeared the cows' necks had been broke and then tossed into the pile. They called the vet to come out and inspect the cows, and he determined that all 4 had their necks broke, and that this is the second time he'd seen this on this property. He told them that was probably why they got the lease so cheap, and that they had gotten lucky to not have lost more cattle. The last person to have cattle on this property lost 30 over a 2-week period in this same manner. Holy shit. That afternoon they pushed the remaining cattle off the lease, and that his grandfather kept that lease but never ran cows out there again, and they never really spoke about what happened out there. Odd. He thinks that what killed those cows didn't want them on the property, and that there has been stories of a family of hairy men that live in the mountains of that area. He's told me that he believes in Sasquatch, and that he believes it was a Sasquatch that killed those cows, and I believe him. Keep safe out there and hope this finds you in good health. CH. Okay, man. Alright, you know, from the sounds of that, if you did a little digging around that neighborhood, somebody else is going to share some shit about that directly. 110% for sure. Yeah, if they're snapping next to cattle, especially 30 of them, they're getting a message across that people should probably have picked up on after the first couple went down, right? That's a pretty shitty way to get the message across. They should just do what everybody else does. Toss some boulders out the car, throw a tree at them and scream and run after them or something, right? You don't have to go killing the innocent cattle. Whatever. Been a lot of sightings, basically right where I'm standing over the years. Side note. I can't believe how cold it is. This is absolutely bizarre. Like, as cold as it is right now, I wouldn't be surprised if it snowed tonight. Alright, I'm gonna get one more going. It's so cold, I swear, I would not be surprised if it snowed tonight. Weird. 2 stories, different creatures. Dear Steve, I'm watching you for a while and really enjoy your truth. I'm not enjoying these bugs. I have 2 stories to tell you. The first taking place in the mid-70s with my brother and I, and the other in 2021. The later story was my son. Story 1, summer of '74. We just moved back to Texas from Southern California. Excuse me. We lived outside San Antonio in a little town called Schertz. At that time, it was mostly frosted area with the ranch and farmlands dispersed. There were 2 subdivisions on our road, about 2 miles separating them. Our subdivision had no street lights and gravel alleyways separating the houses in the rear. These alleyways are about 15 feet wide. We kids in the neighborhood ran around a lot of nights playing hide and seek and just having fun. One night it was so dark, being a new moon, my brother and I were trailing the others when my brother accidentally ran into the fence right as it opened into an alleyway. I stopped to help him. Luckily he wasn't hurt. By the time I got him up and checked him, all the other kids had run down the alleyway and were gone. We started after them and went down the alley. Suddenly, we heard a loud oomph, and something jumped over the wooden fence, landing in the darkness in the middle of the alley. It stood there swaying for a couple of seconds, crouched, then leapt over the opposite fence. Okay, facts now. The fences in the subdivision were 8-foot-high wooden fences. The creature, when it landed, was a head taller than the fence, and it cleared the fence without touching it when it jumped. We told no one when we saw that night, and all we truly saw was a huge dark figure that did something that was so impossible that we had both not witnessed it. We would have thought the other was crazy. Schertz has changed since then, and the last time I drove through there, all that area is completely covered in houses and apartment complexes now. Second story. Late one night, my son was coming home after a date and was driving south down Highway 146 in Galveston County, Texas. He was just coming into Kemah, Texas, heading home to Texas City. As he neared the Kemah Bridge, he saw a strange, skinny figure crawling over the barrier. It stood on 2 legs and looked at him as he passed. Now understand that he was traveling at about 40 miles an hour, so only got a quick look at the thing. But he looked in his rear view mirror, and so that it had started loping after him, and that it actually was starting to close the gap. His hair, he said, stood up on end, and he punched the accelerator and, looking in the mirror, saw the thing slow down and then go back over the cement barrier. What's crazy is that at the point where this thing went back over was about 100 feet above the water below. My son told me a story when he got home, and he was still in shock. He stated that he felt that the thing was very upset he saw him, And the fear he felt when it started chasing was terrible. No freaking doubt. The fear for both of us was, what if this thing followed him home and we made sure all was secure at home over the next few nights and had protection stationed around the house, if you know what I mean. And of course 2 large German Shepherds for early alert system. LOL. My brother and I both agree that the night we had our encounter, it was a Sabe, and my son's encounter was possibly a Wendigo or shapeshifter of some kind, we're not sure. Thanks for listening, your friend Steve. Holy shit, Steve. Well, you know what? If you think those things are going to run around the house, don't put the dogs out. Don't leave them out at night unless you want them dead, right? If there's a chance of them being killed in the yard, it doesn't sound like it, but you never know. It's kind of shitty that they killed the dogs for no apparent reason at all. Something chasing the car, that would suck. You know, I got that semi-feeling of that a couple years ago hunting solo, elk hunting solo up north. And it was about a, 45-minute drive from my tent camp. And then I would be about a 40-minute quad ride through tight bush, tight timber on an old trapping trail. I'll tell you that one time, I was coming out of there at pitch black at nighttime, that one time, and every hair on my body was on end, and I felt something was breathing down my neck. It was brutal. Nothing there, but I tried to joke with myself that I brought it on myself, but then coincidentally it was like the next year is the exact same place my buddy heard that thing beating on the tree and I didn't hear nothing, and the trail camera got slid to face the tree next to it, and all those branches were broke, same spot, so there you go. I don't want to, it would just be so frickin' bizarre to have something chasing you in your vehicle and gaining on your ass, wouldn't it? Ugh. Anyway, I'm sure somebody else is going to email in their experience similar, right? Any day now. Okay, I gotta get home. Gotta get to the man cave, start tying up gear for the boat, getting shit ready to go. And then I maybe get another volley of emails shared. I'll be back.